In this chapter, we only have two sections left, addressing and headers. Let's look at addressing, because when we talk about security as we go on in this course, you're going to have to know about these kinds of addresses. First of all, are IP addresses. Anytime you have an intranet, so in other words a WAN, you're probably using IP addresses to talk to devices on the other side of that WAN. At least in wired WANs. MAC addresses are used for LANs, local area networks. So if I'm talking from one device to another within my network, I am using the MAC address, or the Media Access Control address. Now, if you're talking about wireless WANs, or in other words the cell system, there's an address called the International Mobile Subscriber Identity. And this identifies your phone to the cell system so that it knows that you made a call, and it logs every one of those calls. So this is very important for security because police departments and hackers alike can look up and find that IMSI number and get that off of the system in order to identify who was on that system and when and what calls they made and so forth. There's also another one called the TMSI, which is also on the cell system, and this is used when you travel from one cell to another. You get a temporary mobile subscriber identity that travels with you from cell to cell, and this can also be used by hackers, police departments, and so forth in order to identify who makes calls when and where. So as we talk about security throughout this course, these and other addresses, but these are the most important ones, will be important, and we will talk about and in some cases have labs regarding some of these address types.